Welcome again to Mission Alive. This is Roger from the MSC Mission Office. I want to continue a little bit more with Father Richie in the Philippines. I've done a few programs with him. I'm doing a little bit more because he really has so many things going on in the Centre for the Poor and such interesting things. So I'll present some more pictures with commentary for you, and then I'll leave you with a message from Richie again. But you've seen the message before, but it's really worth listening to. So a little bit more on the Centre for the Poor. Looking at the Centre for the Poor in Cebu, in the Philippines, just again a couple of things about the purpose of it. It is to create IGP, income generating projects, and other efforts that raise the quality of life for the rural people, which is a great thing to do. And these are ordinary people living. They're not wealthy, they're poor, they struggle for life. So to create income generating projects is a big thing, and with that to promote and work with a technology that is appropriate, ecologically balanced and safe. All those things are important if we're looking at environment, the ecology, etc. And further to that, it must be able to save and use the traditional rice, corn and vegetable seed varieties that are not dependent on heavy chemical input. This is important because a lot of the big companies that produce seed are producing only certain types, and they're monopolizing the market. And the danger is a lot of these traditional varieties will die out. Now, we know around the world there are places, including Australia, where a lot of traditional seeds and fruit are being preserved and grown. So this is a great thing, and particularly if they're not so dependent on heavy chemicals, because the companies producing the seed and the chemical companies are often hand in hand. So it's a monopoly of the whole thing. So full points to Richie for doing what he's doing there with all these people. One of the things they did during the COVID pandemic is to give people jobless. People who were jobless because of the COVID, they had food for work programs, establishing water impoundings, developing farmlands, seedling production, fruit and trees, food producing and preservations, backyard livestock raising projects. These are all things that the ordinary rural people can get involved in and can reap the benefits of. So this was very important also. Youth Pandemic Food Assistance Program. So getting the youth involved and the food that they produce to assist people to get through the COVID, because they couldn't find work or for whatever reason. So we got people there with vegetables and processing the vegetables, and our friend there cutting the firewood to do the cooking of the food. So all of that was great, and no doubt they helped many people to get through this time of pandemic. Now this is one I'd never heard of, Azola, protein source for free-range chickens. It's obviously a vegetable. They produce it in big ponds like that, fence it off so it's able to be harvested in due course. And so there's a few facts there. A potential food ingredient for livestock that could be mixed with concentrate or can be given directly. Unconventional food ingredients rich in protein, while other constituents are minerals, chlorophyll, carotenoids, etc. there, and several other beneficial to health. Easy digest owing to its protein and low lignin content. So this is something they've obviously researched there, not only the growing of it, but how to process it and to feed it to the livestock. And you can just see in the background of one of the photos there the chickens. So as we know, chickens, great things like eggs, meat, etc. And chickens also consume a lot of bugs. Now this is an interesting one I never heard of. Harvest of maggots Now, when we think of magnets, and you can see them there in somebody's hands, we cringe a bit. But I learned too when through doing composting that you leave the maggots in the compost, just cover them over, and they help to break down the compost. So sometimes in my compost pile the flies get in, lay their eggs, and we have maggots. So I just cover them over with more compostable material and just let them do their work. They're great. So he's got a whole setup there for maggots, and they are also good protein for chickens, pigs, any livestock at all, and for fish. So beneficial in compost, in breaking down things, and beneficial as protein for all kinds of livestock and birds. So there we are. Don't mock the maggots. They are very useful little critters. Justice for farmers, I might have touched on that before. Again, this is dominated by big companies who fix the prices or determine the prices, and often people who work hard, like these really base level rural poor people, they produce the rice and can't get a fair price for it. So this is a big issue also. So I'll leave it there and finish with again one of the messages from Richie that you saw before, but very worth listening to again. And thank you for being on mission with us, and we continue our work of mission.
Generosity begets generosity. We know that. We believe in the value of sharing, in which that's what nature's work. Zero waste. Nature's work in a zero waste system. And a sharing and biodiversity of gifts, biodiversity of talents and experiences, and these symbiotic relationships of nature, we cannot deny that in our existence as human beings.